Hello students, today this is revision class and we are going to revise lesson 1 Who Did Patrick's Homework, Poem 1 A House, a Home and lesson 1 of grammar, that is sentences. Let's begin with the revision. Lesson 1 Who Did Patrick's Homework? Students, here we are not going to read whole lesson complete, but we are going to cover the value points of the story. There was a boy Patrick who never did his homework, and he used to say that homework was a boring task according to him. Instead of doing his homework, he used to play Nintendo, basketball or hockey. Means he was keen interested in playing games instead of doing his homework. One day he saw his cat was playing with a doll. He tried to grab that doll and he grabbed that doll. When he caught that doll, he found that it was not a doll but there was a man of the tiniest size. The man cried a lot because Patrick grabbed that tiniest man into his hands. The man shouted to leave him. Then the tiniest man had to grant Patrick a wish. And there was only one problem in Patrick's life. Then Elf agreed to do anything for Patrick, including his homework, if only Patrick saved him from the cat. Because Patrick had only one problem in his life, that was only homework. So Patrick saved Elf from the cat. When Elf started doing Patrick's homework, he did not understand many words in English, in mathematics. He did not know the times tables, addition, subtraction, division, fractions. And he also did not know human history and constantly asked for Patrick's help. Means in Elf's life there are no studies. So he didn't know anything about human history, mathematics or English. For him, all these things were dancing over his mind and he didn't know how to do Patrick's homework. He shouted at Patrick that how could he do that homework, because he was not aware of such things in his life. Then Patrick brought many of the books from library. He looked up difficult words in the dictionary to help Elf out in English. And for mathematics, he guided him in mathematics. Means Patrick guided Elf in mathematics, in addition and subtraction, in fraction and multiplication, because all these operations were new for elves. Patrick went to library to fetch books. Fetch means to bring. He brought books. Patrick brought books from library and he read out those books to Elf. He helped the elf read them. Means Patrick was the only one who read out all the books. Means who actually did hard work in doing his homework. He worked hard. Here he is, Patrick. Patrick worked hard. He got A's. Classmates were amazed when the result got out, and on the day of result, when Patrick went to his school with his parents to get the result, his classmates were amazed. Means they were surprised to see Patrick's result, because a student who never liked homework, according to whom the homework was a boring task, instead of doing his homework, he used to spend his time in playing games, football, Nintendo, etc. On the day of result, teachers were happy and full of praise. They were praising about Patrick to his parents. and parents felt he was a model kid. They were very happy to know the result of their child, and they were also amazed that what happened to Patrick, because they knew their boy, they knew their kid, that the child who didn't even like homework, how could he get A grade? Beta, this was the determination of the child of Patrick that he had in the beginning, that he had to do his homework in anyhow. The elf was just an imagination. There was no magic. If you are determined enough to do your homework, you can do it. But you'll have to be determined enough. Your determination is the very important thing that must be there in your life if you do any work. But if you are not determined, then of course any of the difficulty will come, then you will leave your work. If you really want to do your work effectively, efficiently, then you will have to be determined enough. For example, if you determined that at the end of this semester you will be on the first position in the class, then you can do it. Means there should be a determination in your heart. Since day one you will work hard. You will never feel bored of doing your homework. Instead you will do it by your heart. So this was lesson 1, who did Patrick's homework. Including exercise questions, you'll have to read this lesson again, and questions can be asked from the lesson also in the test. I would like to add one more thing into this chapter, that is magical realism. You might be thinking that there was magic in Patrick's life and all of his work was being done by an elf. But let me tell you, there is no magic here. Only make believe, means you are only made believed about Patrick's homework that it was being done by elf. But there was no magic. It was Patrick's own inspiration personified. Means he was an inspired child. There was determination of Patrick that he did his homework himself. He does his homework himself, and there at the end I would like to say self-help is the best help. If you help yourself, there will be everyone, means you can arrange the sources to help yourself. If you do not even try to help yourself, then you cannot do your work. Nobody can help you. So there should be first of all you who should help yourself, and then others will help you. That's why here it is written self-help is the best help. Let's begin with the revision of poem 1, A House, a Home. Beta, here also we are not going to recite the complete poem, but we are going to do this poem or revise this poem through value points. First of all, what is a house? A house is a structure made of brick and mortar, wood and stone, eaves and chimneys, roof and floor, not living. What does it mean? A house is just a structure made up of all these things, but no other person lives with you. Means this is, if we in other words, if we say that an awesome place or a marvelous palace or marvelous building in which all the facilities are available with you, but no other person lives with you who can share his or her feelings or thoughts with you, or with whom you can share your thoughts or feelings. If you get hurt, with whom you can share your feelings or thoughts. So if you live all alone and all the facilities are available, then that lifestyle will also become boring one day. You will also get bored of that kind of lifestyle also. Ultimately, at the end of some days, you will need some persons, or you will need a society, you will need a family where you can share your feelings. where somebody would be there to love you. Like there in the home, there is a family who loves you. There are your brothers, sisters, mothers, fathers who share for you, who shares their feelings with you, their thoughts with you, and who care for you. And when they all live together under a roof or in a house, they convert that house, that building, into a home. In other words, we can say that a house can be converted into a home if all the family members live together, they love each other, they care for each other, and where you are free to share your feelings, your thoughts with the family members. That particular building or that particular place is called a home. Then that house can be converted into a home when all the family members live together under a roof. Home as living beings inhabit it and have feelings. There are many feelings. There are unselfish acts in home. Like your mother does unselfish acts for you. She cooks for you but she doesn't demand anything from you. Your father works and earns for you but he doesn't demand anything from you in return. But he has only one wish, to make you a responsible and a good citizen in the society. But he or she, means your mother and father, they don't have any other demand from you, and they every time they do unselfish acts for you. These are the acts which are being done by our family members only. Nobody else would do such unselfish acts for you. There is kindness, there is caring behavior, there you can share your thoughts in family among your family members. So this was your poem 1, a house, a home. Other than the questions which are being done in the exercise, I can ask other questions also in the test. So be prepared for that and recite this poem by heart. Let's begin with first lesson of grammar, that is sentences. Here we will include all the points. Number 1. What is sentence? A sentence is a group of words which makes complete sense. For example, the birds are flying in the sky. Number 2. Mr. and Mrs. Joe are planning for a trip to America. Now, here certain questions can be asked. One of the question is rearranging the words. Rearranging the words, a group of words which makes a complete sense and makes a sentence. Let's begin how to do it. The question is, rearrange the following groups of words into meaningful sentences. Number 1. Merrily, playing, child, ground, the, in, is. Its answer, the child is playing merrily in the ground. Number 2. Do, I, homework, regularly, my. Its answer, I do my homework regularly. Number 3. Rises, sun, the, from, east, the. Its answer, the sun rises from the east. Now we'll talk about phrase. What is a phrase? A group of words which has some meaning but doesn't have complete sense is called a phrase. Phrase always needs a combination of subject and verb to make it a sentence. For example, number 1, sweet chocolate. This is just a group of words which has some meaning but doesn't have complete sense. But if I say I like sweet chocolate, then I like, that is a combination of subject and verb. If that is added, just before the phrase, then that will be a sentence. Number 2, across the bridge. Now we will discuss about subject and predicate. What is subject and what is predicate? Subject. It is that part of a sentence about which something is said or about whom something is said. Predicate. What is said about the subject is called the predicate. Now let's see their examples. Number 1. Doctors are working hard to save patients from corona. So doctors. Here we are talking about doctors. So doctors will be subject and rest of the part, that is are working hard to save patients from corona, is predicate. Number 2. My friend was wandering and got suffered from corona. Wandering means to move here and there without any aim, without any goal, without any motto. So if my friend is wandering here and there and he was wandering and got suffered from corona, so here we are talking about my friend, that is subject, and rest of the part was wandering and got suffered from corona is predicate. Number 3. We should ensure our safety ourselves. Here we are talking about we, so we is subject and rest of the part should ensure our safety ourselves is predicate. But if we talk about imperative sentences, for example, number 1, go home. As this is imperative sentence, so the whole sentence will be predicate and the subject will be either no subject or we can say imaginary or assumed subject, that is you, because the order has been given to the second person only. You go home. Though you has not been mentioned over here, so you can be imagined as the subject or we can say no subject. In the same way, take rest. Take rest is also a suggestion. Here we can imagine that you is subject or we can say no subject and the whole part take rest will be predicate. Number 3, please fetch me the book lying on the table. Here this is also an imperative sentence. First one is order, second one is suggestion and third one is request. So in 3 of the sentences, the whole sentence will be predicate and there will be either no subject or an imaginary subject or an assumed subject, that is you. Number 4, who are you? In interrogative sentences, here we are talking about you, so you will be subject and rest of the part who are is predicate. Number 5, where is your mother going? So here your mother will be subject and where is going is predicate. Now homework. Kindly solve the assignment based on lesson 1, poem 1 of Honeysuckle and lesson 1 of grammar uploaded in homework column on EdQuark site. Thank you so much.